What's going on, world? Coming at you guys again. We got another quick video. Muslim culture. Let's talk about it. So, currently, there is a trend happening across the world. And what we see specifically are more and more males converting over to Islam and becoming practitioners of Muslim faith and belief and culture. Now, a lot of people probably don't understand what they're getting themselves into. But when I was in college, I took a class in bioethics, which is primarily philosophy of autonomy versus paternalism. Which one takes priority? Autonomy is the choices that you make to govern yourself. Paternalism are the choices that are made for you to govern yourself. When you look at Muslim culture is not an autonomous culture. It's not an autonomous religion. It is a paternalistic culture and a paternalistic religion. You fight, you abide, and you adhere to certain rules and regulations and roles. There is no deviation. There is no change. No matter how bad or how good, depending on the situation in which you find yourself in, that is the constraints of that culture, of that religion. That has no place in American culture. It has no place in the American Constitution or the Bill of Rights. Because in an American culture, everybody is equal, women included. Doesn't matter. So the reality of the situation is, when you guys are going out to the polls and you're going to vote Muslim, that's anti-American. It's anti-Constitution, and it is anti-Bill of Rights. It's anti-freedom. I really need you guys to understand this. If you don't believe me, I'll give you case in point. In Muslim culture, a father not only accepts payment, but demands payment for his daughter if someone was to seek her hand in marriage. This is akin to relating a human being as property, as a cattle, as a slave. Because without these, he will not relinquish custody of his daughter, which makes her an asset. Now, it's no secret that the transatlantic slave trade started with Muslim culture. And they were the ones who primarily facilitated the transatlantic slave trade. So when you guys are talking about this, it's not a big stretch to understand how in a culture whom technically has their children, specifically their daughters, as indentured servants, because in order for someone to claim the right of someone's daughter, they have to pay for it, which is the definition of servitude, an indentured servant. That's not any different than what we're talking about here in America when it comes to the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You don't have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in Muslim culture, especially if you're a female. Every culture has rules and regulations, but the smallest and minimalistic points are not met with extreme measures. And Islam and Muslim culture is an extreme religion. They practice extreme measures. They really do. See, what we teach and what has been taught in the Bible is we have trust and faith in God, and God will see us through, and we have the capacity to defend ourselves. But we do not go out and about of our way to oppress or to secure paternity or paternalism over another individual or another being. That is between you and God. We will keep ourselves straight. We will keep ourselves in order, and we'll protect our family and those around us and those who want to come into the fold. That's perfectly fine. But we do not go out and impose our will upon other people. When you guys are going out to the polls and you're voting Muslim, understand this is what you're voting for. You are not voting for autonomy of freedom of choice. the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that we are all created equally and that we are endowed by our Creator with such unalienable rights. This is not ingrained within the Quran, Islam, or Muslim culture. That's American culture. That's why it says it specifically within our Constitution and why it's reinforced in our Bill of Rights. And the more measures that we allow individuals to enact and which violate our Constitution and our Bill of Rights takes us one step closer to paternalism, extremism, and all of the identifiers in which we have recognized through history for extremist groups. We recognize the Nazis as extremist groups. It's not too far for we as a nation to understand and recognize other extremist groups here in America and around the world. Again, America is the most diverse country on the planet. This is the melting pot. This is the Garden of Eden. No other country on the planet accepts openly as many people as America does. None. America has diversity likely from every country, race, culture, and religion on the planet. But when you go look at every other country on the planet, the majority of these countries are 95% the same race, the same culture, the same religion. Not a lot of diversity, a lot of discrimination, and not a lot of integration, a lot of segregation. And for the last 50 to 100 years here in America, we have been fighting for inclusion. We have been fighting for assimilation. We have been fighting for integration. We have been fighting to make sure that all people are accepted under the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. So when you guys go out and vote for these polls, when you go vote and you're voting for a Muslim, understand what you are voting for is anti-American. What you are voting for, well, technically, it's mutiny. Technically, what you're voting for, if you vote Muslim, it's an act against the Constitution. You're in violation. And unfortunately, it's up to the hands of people who are in office to pursue individuals who want to support anti-American, anti-constitutional, anti-Bill of Rights ideologies. Because again, when you look at it for a whole, America is about autonomy. That's why we have the capacity to vote, and that's why we have the capacity to have freedom of speech and convene upon the case which may come to fruition to where we have individuals whom are in elected positions whom threaten this fabric of America as we know it, that our Constitution is enshrined within, that our Bill of Rights is specified without or throughout. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. We are in the middle of a coup. It is very soft. It is very organized and structured. And we have multiple groups coming into America trying to destabilize it and take advantage. The blood is in the water. Right now, America is at its weakest point. And there are multiple groups, multiple cultures, and multiple religions that see and smell the blood in the water. And they're trying to take America over. But it is up to every American to put our past to the side, put our differences to the side, and to realize and understand no matter race, color, creed, culture, or religion, as long as you practice what the Constitution states, the Bill of Rights specifies, and what we all know to have been taught in the Bible, then the reality of the situation is God will protect those whom are willing to fight and die to make sure that you protect his own. The question is, do you leave the power in the hands of God, or do you want to take the power into your own hands? Because as it says in the Bible, vengeance is God. It's up to God. It's not yours. But when you go look at the Quran, when you look at Muslim culture, well, they believe the power is in their hands. Take this into consideration when you guys go out there to vote. Because once you cast that vote, it's a slippery slope.